we're here to talk about you, your album, your tour. So I will start off with, because there is a bit of a theme that I've noticed that goes through this. So you personally, in your private life, you run the gym, you run the charity, which is a mental health. Throughout everything that you do, you have a theme of your faith that's in there. And then that also flows through into the music. I suppose it's a double barreled question. One, how is that such a constant in your life? And then how do you maintain that in the Sodom and Gomorrah world of the music scene?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think because I look at God as a dad, and I didn't really have much of a father figure in my life, and so I want somebody to lead. I wanted somebody to lead me and teach me how to be a man, but like a good somebody who has a good heart um and I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and so the only thing that for me personally was a constant was my faith. Um, I've had a lot of, trust broken from, giving people opportunities or putting them at the throne of my heart when they shouldn't have deserved it. And I realized that, you know, um, that's where I get the strength to do the things that I do or pursue what I want to pursue, or get through or heal is my faith is just number one. And it's not it's not a religion. Like I don't know. It's like I don't really fit a box. So I can't, like, I don't like politics. I can't fit in political boxes. I don't fit in mainstream Christianity boxes. To me, it's very just like it's the only thing I trust is my faith and my connection with God and listening to what I believe God's saying to me, right? And that could be through an experience, that could be through an um, you know, visual, audible, whatever, journaling, right? So that's really what it is for me. And I'm I'm no different than anybody else. I'm not special. I'm not better. I'm not stronger. I'm I'm human, right? So for me, um, I'm not going to sit here and say like that I'm all changed and great. My life's great. It's not. It's my life is not great, right? Because I'm human. Um,
Mm,
now I don't look at I look at darkness as like an energy and as a force. And I think that that's the real enemy. I don't think people are necessarily like, for the most part, I don't think people are evil. I think people are broken and hurting. And so I want to be a light. I want to be able to combat the darkness. And the way that I can do that is by encouraging people to get healthy, whether that's breaking from a traumatic experience they had, breaking from an addiction that they've got going on, breaking from their perspective on how they view themselves, whatever it might be, right? And the only way that I can do that is by sharing my own struggle, my own difficulties, because that's where people can meet me. Um,
mm,
and so that's that's what I look at in a spiritual sense, and that's why it's so important to me, and that's why I have a gym that's about mental health and physical fitness, and you know what I mean, because I want to help people get healthy and better. And my charity is about mental health and the music scene, and I want to help people connect and find healing or overcome whatever, break cycles. And then the music is my heart on, it's my life being written out on paper. When I don't look at the world necessarily as I mean, it's good to say like Sodom and Gomorrah, like I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's all broken. And when I think to myself, I ask myself two questions. One is, do I think the world is broken? Yes. Did I, and then my second question is, did I create me? No. So when I'm broken, where am I supposed to go to get fixed? Should I go to a broken world? And so like for me, it's like I want to go to like whatever created me, and I want to meet that. Like I want that to be in my life. And when I'm going on tour or whatever, like, uh, it it's just life, right? Like, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't see it as like, um, checks and balances, um, boxes, right? I see it as like an experience. And it's like, okay, do I want to be having this experience? Do I want to give this thing control? Um, but a lot of times when I see things, I'm going, man, that like I just want to love on that dude, or I just want to encourage that person, or you know what I mean? Because it's like, dude, I've been there. I'm nobody to say, oh, like, look at him, like he's all twisted up, fucking three sheets to the wind. Like, I'd rather be like, dude, I've been there, I've experienced it. I know what that's like. I wonder what he's going through right now. So I don't know that like um, I just I don't know. I think it's kind of almost probably for myself personally unhealthy to think of myself differently than what is here because I'm whether I like it or not, I'm human and I'm in this experience, right? And so like I have a choice to make. I can either be a become controlled by the things that are around me or try to help change things, right? And the only way that I can do that is by changing myself first. And if I want to change myself, I'd rather go to God, my creator, than the world that I already know is broken. And so
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't necessarily look at it as like, oh, you better watch your step. It's like, dude, my step, I'm already fucked up. You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about it, like, and I believe that God will help me, like through whatever comes my way.
A few things you said in there, which links into the album as well, Season of Surrender, because you mentioned about certain areas of darkness. I got the impression that this album lyrically is darker than previous albums. However, I also get the standpoint of it's almost, and I could be wrong, almost like each song is its own, say, parable. So this song is about this person, what they go through with narcissists. This song's about a different person, what they go through about death. So instead of it being about you, it's about other people. How challenging is that to be able to write that and then convey that lyrically and sonically?
Yeah, I've experienced everything on that record. And the idea is really for it's about the experience of that situation through the lens of the person that's experiencing it. Because I know that, yeah, maybe you haven't experienced all of the things. There's depression, addiction, grief, betrayal, narcissism, right? Self sabotage. There's all these different things. And I'm not saying that you have experienced all of those things through your lens, right? Through actually going through that. But I would imagine that you could connect to one of them at least. And the idea is season of surrender is the idea that I'm trying to give you all of these experiences in hopes that you would resonate with at least one of them and then self reflect and think about something that you hold close to your heart and surrendering that. Now, let's say you're a narcissist, right? And you're being aware of this and you have this conviction of your narcissistic behaviors, right? Then I would challenge you as the listener, hey, maybe you need to visit this. Maybe you need to look into this. And so surrender it, right? Because it's close to your heart. If you give things away that aren't close to your heart, you're not giving. There's no sacrifice, right? It's like giving a poor man $1 when you've got $1,000. No, give him $1,000. Now we're talking. I don't want to do that, right? So that's what I'm talking about. It's that thing that's close to your heart that I want to invite people into doing. And the reason why is because in that season of surrender, by giving something that has control over you, whether that's a traumatic experience from the past or that is an addiction or whatever's controlling, it's a part of your identity and it's an unhealthy part of your identity. And so if you can let go of it, heal, break, overcome, whatever, you now are going to be more in a more pure form of who you were intended to be. And therefore, you're going to live out your life that you were intended to live instead of the world saying, come into this box be a part of this team, be this guy, make this money, or trauma, saying, hey, your dad was verbally abusive. Talk to other people like this. This is normalcy now for you. You were constructed to, instill fear or make people submit or whatever. And you can take that, break it, and now you become more of yourself. And that's what this whole record is really about. Lyrically, I should say, lyrically.
Which, but musically, there's elements of going back to the beginning as well. Like my notes here, Nameless as an example, it kind of harks back to the past. When you've been doing it for as long as you guys have, digits in terms of albums, do you take much value on when people say, oh, hey man, you guys are sold out or you've changed, or the opposite of you guys haven't changed? Well, how hard is it to manage that?
I think if you have a desire of your heart, there's two things that I think you have to do is you have to not care what other people think because they're going to stop you. And then I think the other one is you got to stop thinking about how you feel and just do it. So those two things is was important for me. I can only speak for myself through the process of recording this record. It's like I can't care what you think. And I also can't care how I feel about doing this. If this is truly what I want to do and other people think it's cringe or they think it's stupid or it sounds the same or whatever, that doesn't matter. It's just noise. Both of those things are just noise, right? You have to do what you're called to do. And you can't please everyone, dude. It's just not possible, right? But the beautiful thing for those people is our music scene is so massive that there is a slew of bands to choose from. If you don't like Augustburnsred, that's okay. It's not like it's the end of the world. There's tons of other great artists out there that you can vibe on. But of course, we wanted to keep our roots. And then we wanted to really be able to showcase what we've learned over the years because we all do continuing education as individuals in our instrumentation, right? As our gifts. And so we wanted to really just write the best ABR record we possibly could. And we didn't want to go to trends. We didn't want to do anything mainstream, like the mainstream metalcore sound that's going on right now. We didn't want to go out of the box and be a completely different band. We want to be ourselves. And that's who we are. And we have our identity. And I think that in the mass ocean of art that we have in the metalcore industry, I think having your own identity is pretty cool. So that's the route we went.
Yeah, very much so. And don't think I've got much longer. So we will jump into the Australian element, both on the album and your tour. Because it's just like you've just sat there and tried to butter up Australia with, let's get Polaris on, make them suffer on. Who else can we, giant tombola of Australian bands? Who else is there? And then, of course, you'll be here in September for, my notes say it's your first headliner in 7 years. Is it your first? It's not been 7 years since you've been here, though, has it?
No, it's our first headliner in 7 years, but we were there, I think it was 24 with Polaris. That when they released their new record, we were main support to Polaris, and that was holy smokes, dude. Those guys rip, dude. And the fan base that they have in Australia is it's just incredible. So no, yeah, but this is our first headliner, and now we're all excited because we got this new record. So we're like, do we get to play some new music? So yeah, it's gonna be a ripper, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
What is it about Australia that you guys resonate so much with?
For me personally, I met a guy at a bar several years ago in Australia, and funny enough, he had a massive hole in his hand because he got bit by a spider and the venom ate his flesh. That was wild. Never seen that before. But he said, what's funny is in America, you Americans, you live to work. Here in Australia, we work to live. And that shift of mindset, that culture that you guys have is attractive to me. I think that's a beautiful way to live. I think it's great to have that mindset of don't get chained to work and making a bunch of money and doing all this business stuff. Is that the life you want? Or do you want to go to work so that you can experience life with family and friends and nature? And you know what I mean? And so I just think I think you guys have your heads on straight. And I love the weather and I love the animals, and everybody that I've met there has been reasonable, right? You guys are just good people. It's probably, and I'm not saying this to you to say this to you, but I would say, I always say that it's my favorite place to tour. I've always said that. I say Australia, and then I say Japan's really cool too. But my favorite place to be, I just wish you weren't so far away.